Hi, my name is Gordon Van Dyke, executive producer of War of the Vikings, and you're watching Eurogamer.
Hey guys, Ian from Eurogamer here, and oh look, Vikings! These naughty Norsemen have been in a few video games over the years, but now there's a new one on the horizon, and it's from the makers of War of the Roses, which is imaginatively called War of the Vikings. I popped along to an announcement event, and in an effort to get as much info about the game as possible for you guys, I went in all Viking style and pillaged the brain of Gordon Van Dyke from Paradox Interactive, and this was the result. Wait, did that just say Vikings is losing? Oh, yeah it did. Lol.
War of the Vikings is a close quarter combat multiplayer, big online multiplayer game set during the Viking Age, and it pits the Vikings versus the Saxons during the Viking invasions of England. Last year in October, we released War of the Roses, which was our first big multiplayer close quarter combat PvP style game. That was set in the 15th century during the Wars of the Roses, and there we built up a brand new close quarter combat engine and built that on the graphic engines that's called BitSquid. So you know, when you build it, we built that from the ground up, and then now we are building this game on top of that core mechanics. It's not the same exact game. There are some differences, but the core experience is very, very similar. Somebody who played War of the Roses when they played War of the Vikings will quickly pick up and learn the new things that we've added to it and the ways that we've updated and changed it. So we've added a dodge system that players will be able to use, and we've also added some special moves that give them a unique fighting attack based on their weapon. But then those also have drawbacks as well. So you can be very exposed when you're dodging. If you dodge towards somebody, you increase your momentum. If somebody gets in a hit when you're dodging, that momentum increases the power and the damage of their attack. So those things in combination make dodging, you have to be really clever with it. And those are things that players can really start to learn and use it to dodge weapons. There's a lot of throwing weapons now because that was very commonplace during that time period. So players want to dodge those as well.
You've also announced a new arena game mode. Can you explain what's involved with this new mode?
We basically took the pitched battle game mode from War of the Roses and tuned it up a little bit and created, out of the faster combat, we found that we really wanted a closer quarter combat experience for the close quarter combat game, you know, combat style. So we made much smaller maps. So when you spawn in as a team, and you only have one life, and you'll always see your enemy directly across from you in the beginning, which leads to, now that we have throwing weapons, there's a lot of spears and axes and daggers and even archers who are shooting at you, and you just run for cover and you throw your weapon hoping for a lucky shot.
What changes have you made to War of the Vikings gameplay after player feedback from War of the Roses?
One of the key things that we did was we added a stamina system to help control the flow of the combat, so that to reduce spamming. That was one thing that really frustrated players. They're also really frustrated with our squad system and spawning and stuff. And there was a lot of unclear situations with that as well, because a squad leader could pick different like perks for his squad and buff his squad. But a new squad leader could come and completely change that. So now we're attaching things like that to the actual squad. So it's not a squad leader that's controlling that, but it's the squad when they form it, and they would pick what perks that they want, for example. And then they'll have a banner, and they'll have to place that banner to be able to get that buff. And that banner also will have, we'll attach animal symbols to those different perks, so that other players can, as they get better at the game and they learn how more of the systems, they'll be able to look at that banner, and it'll also be projected on their shield and say, oh, that guy's in that squad, he's that squad color, and he has that animal, so he has these perks. And then they'll understand better what that person has, and then they'll be able to learn it, and they'll be able to it'll make more sense instead of being a little bit of mystery.
So will people who are used to War of the Roses find the combat slightly different due to the change in time period?
The combat is different for just, first it comes from the setting. So the setting is definitely, it's a simpler time. Technology was not even near as advanced as it did get by the 15th century. You didn't have the variety of different swords. You didn't have the variety of different ranged weapons. You didn't really have the mounted combat and things like that. So we focused heavily on that more aggressive melee combat. You didn't have heavy plate armor and things like that. But it's a really fun, aggressive experience. So if you really want this more attrition, aggressive, smashing into your enemies, smashing your shields against each other, trying to cut down that shield, remove that defensive system, and just get in there and really take down your opponent, you'll get that from War of the Vikings. War of the Roses is more about precision and that fine fencing techniques, really getting in there and trying to penetrate into your enemy who typically is wearing plate armor, which is very effective. and we made that effective in the game as well, just like it would be in real life, or as close that we could as possible.
The game is online multiplayer, obviously, but what's the player limit looking like for War of the Vikings?
Well, we're going to have 64 players. The maps, we're still trying to just get out as many as possible, but we're definitely going to have 3 really big ones to cater towards the classic game modes like Team Deathmatch, and we're going to have an objective-based game mode as well. And then we'll have as many arena maps as we can make. They're a bit easier to make, so we're trying to get a lot of those out, but we'll definitely have around 6 of those as well.
Tell us about the customization options in War of the Vikings.
We want to keep it very much about cosmetic. We still want to adhere to skill is not an unlock in this game. We want it to be about player skill, in these games you always have much higher skilled players that are, they're always at the dominating the leaderboards, right? And so you're still going to have that, but it's because they're really good at the game. So what we want to do is keep all the unlocks and stuff more in the cosmetic range. So it's more about looks and style and showing off your veteran status and your dedication to the game.
That guy behind you's got a fantastic beard.
Yeah.
And, I've heard you can customize beards as well.
Yeah, we're going to implement a system where you're going to be able to have some form of beard customization. Likely have that locked to how your level and experience. So that's very much a status symbol for the more veteran players, which is very true to that time period as well. The guys with the more elaborate beards were the guys that were just really badass warriors, and they could grow out that beard and not be afraid that an opponent's gonna take advantage of that, because they probably killed the guy before he could get close enough to his beard.
Well, Gordon, any game with advanced beard customization is a win in my book, so I'll be checking out the alpha as soon as it's available to peoples. Anyone else interested can head over to warofthevikings.com to sign up for the alpha, unless of course you already own War of the Roses, because you'll be getting it automatically for being a loyal customer. Righty-ho, I'm off to tie some silver trinkets into my big ginger beard and pillage some Saxon villages for lovely loot. You're welcome to join me on my raid, but before you do, please subscribe to the channel by clicking on that on-screen annotation. Otherwise you'll miss all our exclusive content, and there's no way you'll forgive yourself. Get it? No way? Because Vikings? Yeah.